Hello everyone, and welcome to the Deep Blue Renegade podcast. My name is Molly, also known as the Deep Blue Renegade, and I'd like to welcome you guys to episode 72. Today is Sunday, January 11th, 2015, and I'm glad that you could join me today. It's a very dreary day out, so hopefully the lighting isn't too bad. It doesn't look too bad right now, so we'll just roll with it. But I'm pondering whether or not I need to change my podcast location, but then I can't close the door, so we'll figure it out. Next weekend it should be warm enough to record outside, so I'll probably do that. I would say 65 is pretty reasonable for recording outside. This week is really super duper light on knitting, but it's not going to change how much time I spend talking about my knitting projects. Because there isn't much to say about my knitting projects. So I am still working on my big projects. It looks like I'm much closer to finishing the Moonstone shawl than the Viajante, but that's no big deal. I now have 48% of the yarn left for my Viajante. This is a pattern by Martina Bem. It is in Woolmeise lace in the Blau tint colorway. And so if we see the progress I made between the episode before and the episode before that, this much. Progress made this week, this much. It has not been a good week. I probably, it's a little bit more than an inch, but it really isn't a lot. This didn't get a lot of love this week. And it probably got more love than my Moonstone shawl, so yeah. And these are my only knitting projects, so it was a bad week for knitting. But coming along, I'll probably end up taking one of the early markers and moving it at this point because I'm running out of ones that you can easily detach. So I'll just take that off now and move it onto the stitch so that I have my guidepost for how much I have knit. And I'll have to go one stitch behind, otherwise that's going to be sort of annoying. But yeah, so this didn't get a lot of love this week. There really was unfortunately not a lot of knitting. But so the ball is getting smaller. I'm now pulling from the outside of the ball instead of the inside of the ball, so it should hold up a little bit better in my bag as well. And it was sort of funny, I was knitting at the local yarn shop, which is Holly's Yarns, and I was sitting next to a woman, and she's like, "You're not even looking. Like, how can you not look?" But it turned out that she had only been knitting for 2 weeks, so she was amazed that you could do such things, but it's not gonna end around. But one day, her day will come. That works out. So there's that. It continues to live in my bag. It continues to get picked up and put down randomly. So it is really good movie knitting. So perhaps there'll be some more movie watching and I can keep wailing away on it, because it would be lovely to have the finished object. My other project is the Moonstone shawl. I've worked a whopping 6 rows on it, maybe, since last time, so that is about 3 grams. And at this point, it's really sort of hard to show it off because it is so scrunched on needles, because this is the long end. And I am not using my interchangeables on this, I'm just using, well, I would guess I'm using my 4. Nope, I'm using my 5, so I'm actually following the pattern. I was reading the pattern to try to understand if there was anything special I was supposed to do. Not really, I'm just repeating the chart until I run out of yarn, for lack of a better word. And I probably will even stop at a half repeat if that ends up making sense. And then you do like a stretchy bind off, and that is the end. So it's coming together, it's growing, it's going to be a monster when it's done. And I have 40 grams left of this, so that means I only have 35% left to go, and then I will be finished with this guy, and this will probably be the one that I start my something special project after that. So it's coming along, but slowly. Normally I work on it when I have a big block of time, like enough time to do an entire row. So it's not something that I pick up and put down over and over again. Ugh. And that is all my knitting. It's been all my knitting for what, since early December? But such is life. They're big projects, so it takes some time. What I did do instead of knitting this week was spin. If you follow me on Instagram, you probably saw all of the yarn porn. I did finish spinning the pound of fiber, so I started this basically as soon as I got my wheel. And this is the Monster 9-ounce skein I managed to fit on my jumbo bobbin. And then, oh, there's a sticker. And then here is the Not So Monster 2-ounce skein. Then, oh, this one was a bit smaller. I'm now trying to remember how much was actually in this one. Not as much. And this one is probably another, I'd guess, 2 ounces. Probably. I don't know. 89, so it's probably 3 ounces here. And then I had a smaller skein, which is, I think, less than an ounce. Or maybe, it's not 2 ounces. Of 3 ply. So this is red. This is the red. This is the potluck roving guy. So not too many yards of this one. And then this one is 2 plies red, 1 ply of the combo. So lots of red in this guy. Big chunky yarn. And then this one is basically my leftover. So this is a ply of the white, a ply of the red, and a ply of the combo. It is so big and chunky and ridiculous. And then this is the Monster skein, and it is also a ply of the red, a ply of the white, and a ply of the combo. The white didn't necessarily stay totally white from this. I'm trying to think about how close it is in terms of color. It definitely is really squishy. Next to skin soft. And quite a lot of fun. And in total, I had 481 yards before washing. I'm not sure after washing. I can probably measure out a length and then recalculate from there on how much yardage I have. I don't think it ended up plumping up a whole hell of a lot, so it's not too shabby. I have no clue what I'm going to do with it. This is my first bin spin. It was also a part of the Completely Twisted and Arbitrary combo challenge. So it is maximizing my spin-along potential with this one. It is the first thing that has come off of my wheel, so that was pretty cool. And I'm definitely very happy with how it ended up turning out. In comparison to the last thing I spun on a wheel, it is entirely different purpose and entirely different result. I was very mindful to making sure I didn't overspin, and in that regard, I was certainly a success. So it's plied enough to hold it together. And I did all sorts of like crazy things while I was spinning it. So some of it is short draw, some of it is long draw. All of it was top. So The red was, for the most part, long draw spun because I was having a really hard time keeping it as thick. And as a result, I just had way, way, way more red yardage than the other. And so, I don't know, it just ends up making for interesting coming in and out of red and white, these guys. And then for this guy, like, this one's just ridiculous. So I think this one's about 24 yards. It had to be more than 24 yards. It was like way less than a gram per yard on this one. The other ones were closer to a gram per yard, I believe. So really, really happy with how this turned. I probably would have absolutely loved the red fiber spun this way and just had the red fiber, but then it wouldn't have been a combo spin. So, I don't know, this one just turned out so pretty and so cool. But that was a big playing session last week. I don't remember if I was done spinning the signals. I probably wasn't last week. But pound a wool. And so prove that I can spin a thicker weight yarn, because this is an awful lot of weight for not a lot of yardage. I'm not sure what pattern I would make with it, but I'll figure out something eventually. It's definitely thick enough where it isn't really going to be a garment, I don't think. So, not much use for bulky in Texas as the garment. So after I got that off, I decided to move on to my next bin spin. And I was just laughing a little bit that I could fit the tag on this. So this is 100% Falkland. And it is a prize that I ended up getting from from some Cal in Molly of Homespin's house group. So this is Rock and String Creations 100% Falkland. I ended up over dyeing it because I didn't really like the color. It was sort of like an olive green and pink and other such things. And this one was an interesting, I've never spun Falkland before, but the big thing was I think I ended up felting it when I dyed it. So it was like, if I took the entire length of fiber and tried, like held my hands far enough apart and tried to pull it apart, it wouldn't go. And I'm pretty sure that wasn't the case when I received the fiber, so that's no thing on Rock and String. It was my screwing up in dyeing. But it did, like if you pulled a little bit, it would drafts, and so I ended up spinning all of this week. I'm trying to remember when I started it. Probably on Thursday, and just sort of wailed away at it. So while I was watching movies, I would spin on it. So I think it was roughly 2 movies worth of spinning. Because I think, what was it? Because we watched Princess Bride and we watched Minority Report. And I guess that was 3 movies. Minority Report, and then watched Tron. And so with all of those, that was how long it took to actually spin this up. So some of it, so my plan is to Navajo plaid and to keep the color progression the same. So there's like a foresty green and purples and a magenta and like blue section. So it should be pretty. It looks like it's probably going to come out as a worsted based on my sampling. So it'll be really floofy. It's not going to be my softest yarn ever, but I'm guessing it'd probably make a pretty nice hat or something like that. So that's probably on tap for some time today while watching podcasts and the like. I'm not sure which fiber is going to go next on the wheel. I probably do need to do some spinning of the chocolate Shetland fleece. Oh wait, I need that. I haven't worked on it at all this week, but that would probably be after I finish plying. That would be the logical thing to go from there. And based on how fast I'm spinning, maybe I will throw it on the wheel. I'm not sure. we shall see. If it turns out to be like totally different, then I'll have to keep spinning it on my spindle, but that is the story there. So I do have a bit of a conundrum at the moment, because now that it is, I don't know, it's been getting below freezing somewhat consistently lately, and that's sort of been like, ooh, sweaters. We haven't had any bad weather yet, but it's sort of like put me in the mood. And then at knitting, someone had finished like this really cute sweater, and she has like the same body shape as me, so I'm like, I could do that one. Which of course is whatever, put all sorts of like sweatery inspiration. So I pulled out all of my sweater quantities. Well, I guess sustainable myself would also count as a sweater quantity, but so I have my leftovers from Alfaba, isn't it? The sweater I just can't seem to get the alternating skeins on, right? And I would alternate every single skein in order to do that. So there's this one that's sitting around waiting in the wings. And then I have, really this is only 3 skeins, but one of them it broke. I had over-dyed Wool Misa, because it was in a brown colorway. And I tried to turn it blue, and then I screwed up and then turned it red. So this is, and it's superwash merino, so the color strikes amazingly fast. It's a little bit uncontrolled. And this would definitely be an alternating skeins sort of dealio, because some of they're definitely different colors. And I finally, one of my big New Year's Day projects was untangling it all, winding it, and then skeining it up. So this is all ready to go. And then the other one is, because I had screwed up ordering, my mother-in-law ended up getting me the color I wanted all along, which was Mouse Young, which is, the shine doesn't work. So this is a gray color, and it would go with anything, which is why normally I wouldn't necessarily pick a gray, but my love of bright colors doesn't, strictly speaking, mean that everything goes with everything else, and if I had some gray accessories, they would go with more things. So the sweater, so then my question to you guys is, like, what sweater should I do? So I'm thinking, so the sweater that one of my knitting friends just finished was Snowbird, which is a Heidi Kermeyer pattern, and I definitely have enough yarn for that. The other one that I was thinking of, which I don't have quite enough yarn for, is the Sophisticated Hoodie by Sally Melville, and that one like has a zipper and a hood and all that other fun stuff, so that one might be really cute. So, I don't know, what do you guys think? I don't know, on one hand I have a lot of big projects and I really don't have any business starting a new one, but sweaters! It's winter, it's time for sweaters. So, but I think it definitely needs to be a cardigan or something that I can, classy enough that I can like wear to work and look good in. So, what do you guys think? The sweater bug is hit. And I'm sure I could find some coordinating colors if I needed to in order to stretch out my one-of-a-kind dye job, but they're all the equivalent of 3 skeins of Wool Misa DK, which is 468 yards per skein. So that's like, oh, math just totally failed me right then. So 468. So that would be 1200, and then 68 times 3 would be another 8 plus 24. So it's about 1500, which should be fine for me because I'm medium-ish. But I don't know. I am also the sort where I will knit a sweater in August, like an alpaca sweater. So I am very insensitive to the season when it comes to knitting sweaters, but for some reason, starting a sweater just seems very attractive right now for whatever reason. And it isn't like, and normally I don't have this many sweater quantities in my stash. Normally I have about 1. So it's very unlike me. I just had a crazy idea where one of my spinning projects could perhaps give me enough extra that I could incorporate it in, thinking about it. I have a Polworth, which is probably in good contrast to the other one, so maybe that could make it so I could make the hoodie with doing trim or stripes or something like that. And extend it out enough in order to get the yardage. But I don't know, so if you guys have like pattern suggestions or ooh, definitely use that yarn, let me know in the thread because that would be fun. And we shall see. I think that I'm going to be starting my camel silk spin pretty soon, and that is going to be part of the Something Special Cal, which is going on in my group, which is the Deep Blue Renegade podcast on Ravelry. So if you can think of something you've been holding off on using because you've been waiting until they're good enough, go! Start the project and post on thread, and we can all chatter and ooh and ah about each other. It goes until March 31st, and at the moment I don't really have plans for prizes, but if you think of anything, let me know. I just ended up sending off the prize skein for the 4,000 socks in 2014 Cal. We ended up knitting about 4,600 socks, so I decided to up the goal to 5,555 because I'm really amused by repeating strings of numbers. And based on how many people are in the group, it's not actually that hard to make any arbitrary goal that's set, but people have a lot of fun looking at the chart and figuring out how we're making progress and all the other stuff. So no big deal. If they want to play, I'm happy to make the chart and whatever, cheer people on. There's also another cal going on in the group too, which is the Jack cal, or sorry, I want to knit jacks for it. It is the sock hop cal, so what you do is you look at the list of the socks already being knit and you can join a team, or you can suggest a pattern, or you can look at the people who haven't gotten partners yet, and so the idea is that you and at least one other person knit a pair of socks together, and this is a cal that's ending at the end of February, so there's still plenty of time to join in. And it's like the chatteriest, ridiculous thread ever. It's like I think it's one of our most popular cals and sock knitters, so Hypercycloid, aka Kristen, is the one who runs that, and it's always a good fun, and there are prizes involved as well for groups that finish and stuff like that. So you get points, I believe, for your entire group finishing and for you finishing. So it's it's pretty interesting. She does a lot of work to keep that one running. I don't want to make it run. So that is the story of the Cal is there. I am continuing to do the completely twisted and arbitrary spin the bin, and it looks like I should be able to easily make it this year, especially if I keep up with my less pleasant sweater spin. Oh, silliness. Ah, it looks like this episode isn't actually too short. So I think that's everything that I wanted to talk about this week. I might manage. Wait, I might manage to start doing the challenge spin as well. So in the next group, we have until the end of January to do a combo spin, and I wanted to do the Magpie and Nebula colorways together as like a 3-ply sock yarn. And based on how quickly I ended up spinning up the, my other stuff, that would mean that it might be not too bad to do. So I have 8 ounces of fiber there, and it's not going to be a bulky, but it looks like I should be able to do it. So maybe that'll be the next thing that gets thrown onto the wheel, and then I will never be knitting again. All I'll be doing is making yarn by spinning. So it looks like that's possible because Jen alerted me to the fact that it might be possible. So that one ends at the end of January, and the combo sale ends, I think, February 6th or something strange like that. So I can definitely finish it in time for that. So I don't know. I've been having a lot of fun spinning. So, and like I have the spinning wheel set up in the living room, so then I sit towards the back and then watch movies and stuff like that. So it's been good fun. So I believe that is now everything for the episode. I should be able to record next week, so that'll be Sunday the 18th. And I think I covered all of the other reminders and stuff like that for you guys. So I look forward to speaking again, and have a lovely week. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.